what's going on YouTube? It's the Grand Line here today, and so today I'm going to give you a review of Chapter 868 and a preview and some thoughts for the future in Chapter 869. So, as of last week, I'd just like to apologize and say I'm sorry I missed that huge thing where Big Mom ate the other people and Mother Caramel. I completely missed that, and I usually don't watch any other videos to give me tips and thoughts about what the chapter is going to be before I read and do my own videos, so I don't copy anyone's ideas and give any unnecessary information regarding it that's not my own personal thought. So anyways, we get forward with this. Sorry if I'm talking really fast. I got like 15 minutes to do this before I gotta go to class and work. So let's get away and start this off. So at least the main portion that we do see, at least at this point, is that Streusen, who almost reminds me of the Candy guy that Big Mom has within her crew. I could be wrong, but I think it is him. No, I could be wrong. It might not be him. However, I find it really interesting that they introduced this character. If they are new, I can't remember. Like I said, I'm doing this off the top of the dome real quick. But if it is the person that is in her crew, I do find that very, very interesting. That at least he may have had some backstory pattern where he was influencing Big Mom, which we may see in the future in the next couple chapters, which I do think would be a little bit neat. Add some more background to Big Mom almost. So we see a little bit more with this and why the Giants completely dislike her, which is totally understandable in that sense. And then we resume all the way back to Big Mom when they're about to light her up with the three rockets and whatnot. And then out of nowhere, Big Mom, it looks like it's about to happen. I was like, wow, is this about to happen? And then out of nowhere, boom, it's just stopped. Now, and there's a little bit of backstory actually intermixed. I'm rereading it as we're reviewing this. And she's taking out people. You almost feel bad for her for a second. Then you just realize there's some of these panels which, man, I'm telling you, she's a complete savage. Just taking out everybody if they don't agree with her. It's absolute or nothing in the middle. It's 100% or you're going to be 0% and you're killed. Which shows her more, I guess, evil and malicious side, which you would expect of a Yonko. At least at that point. And then we do see the thing where I'm thinking it's Conqueror's Haki, which is Haki, my fault. And the Conqueror's Haki, I do find that really interesting that it's able to repel and destroy the missiles that are sent off at it, mid-air. It just stops them. So if it is Conqueror's Haki, which may or may not be confirmed, I'd just like to say that it is extremely powerful and it does have the ability to completely prevent the owner, I guess you'd say, or the person who has the ability to possess Conqueror's Haki, in a sense, to completely protect themselves when they are in a state of a weakened state in a sense and are unable to do anything, consciously defend themselves, yet it still defends themselves without them having to do any action at all, which I do find technically extremely OP and very, very, very interesting. And at that exact moment, Big Mom is gone. She's unleashed the beast. She can't do anything. Capone says, plan failed. Everybody's taken off. Which I do want to say, at least in a sense that I was hoping for the plan to succeed for the sake of Luffy's and the rest of the Straw Hats' sake, which would make the story go in their favor, which would be fantastic. However, real quick, I do want to point out that the fact that the plan did fail and Big Mom is was not able to be taken out in this arc, which would have been ridiculous if she was, because she is a Yonko and is on a whole nother level. Because she had a 500 million bounty, I think, at the age of 15, compared to Luffy, who's around the age of 20 at this point. Just want to point that out there. But shit just went down. Shit completely just went down. They have no idea what to do. Because there was no backup plan within Capone's plan of plans of plans. This is completely gone. And a lot of people did call it that Caesar's mirror was going to break with her Conqueror's Haki when he ran into the thing, which also did happen, which I like how Oda did that. I think that was a really, really, really well done. And one other thing I do want to point out is these weird bubbles that are popping up around some of the Big Mom captains. If anyone wants to comment and let me know what those are, I would love to know, because I actually have no idea what is going on right now with Dogtooth is holding them and Kedra Sparrow's with them also. Whatever that is, just comment, let me know, because I'm very, very, very curious. At least, and so we keep going. Oh, and then so the mirror breaks and all that other stuff happens, and then they're up against a bunch of commanders. This is Yonko commanders versus Pirates in the New World and all the rookies. I don't think this there's no way this is gonna go in their favor. I'm sorry. You can support Luffy all you want, Capone all you want, even after seeing Capone's badass ultimate form, even with Jinbei, like, there's no way. I just don't see any way for them to escape this scenario, which some people have been saying that Jinbei is going to die to let them escape, which now could look very, very, very likely in this scenario, that Jinbei could choose life, then take his own life so Luffy can survive and escape, which would be really, really a good touch in a sense, and it would be very interesting. Also, where are the Vinsmokes? We didn't see the Vinsmokes at all this chapter, so maybe they'll be jumping in next chapter, starting to haul out and take people down, which would be fantastic and awesome, but who knows, just want to point that out. So that could be a possible ally to the Straw Hats and the Alliance, whatever, the Allied Forces, quote-unquote. I think that's what Capone called them. So just want to point that out there. They're not shown in this chapter, but they could have an impact next chapter. And then, boom, you've got the Big Father, which, Capone, I guess, quote-unquote, summons up and brings out this bad boy. And everyone's getting inside it. I just want to say that, I don't want to call this a backup plan, but it looks really, really cool, and I think it looks a lot like Chopper's ultimate form, which maybe is where Oda got some of his inspiration from, which is totally fine, because I think this thing looks completely sick. It's like a moving freaking castle that's 100, 200 feet tall. Whether or not it actually puts in damage and gets everybody to safety is a whole nother story, but it's completely possible. So just some thoughts for the next chapter. One, I'm excited that the plan failed. That sounds bad, but however, it does provide so much more content and so many more fights are now going to happen because of the plan, quote-unquote, failing, and now it's got thrown for a hitch. So maybe we could end up seeing the Vinsmokes finally get into action, see what power levels they could possess, which could be huge, small, or in the medium, mediocre. We really have no idea. That's all up for Oda to, write out and let us see what happens. I'm curious what this castle is going to do, if it's all just, I can't tell if all the cannons and stuff is just fodder. I'm going to be a complete savage. I think that's all just fodder stuff where it's just shoot some stuff off, and every single Logia user is just nothing happens. That's what I think is going to happen with that. But it could have some really, really cool stuff that ends up happening. I mean, you still have, in the last chapter, you still see, Brook, Pedro, Luffy, and Jimmy. They're all heavy hitters, but the Big Mom Pirates are just heavier hitters. She's just got people with 900 million bounties. Nobody on the Straw Hats has a 900 million bounty, and people can say bounties don't matter, it's all on matchups, which is true. But you have to earn that 800, 900 million bounty. And it's not just handed out, because you see Luffy's went into Paramount War and done all this other stuff, and he's only accumulated up to 500 million. I just want to point that out. There's the chances of them defeating the Big Mom Pirates is 0. I just don't think it's going to happen, and I could be proved wrong. It'd be cool if I was proved wrong, but I just do not believe that's going to happen. And this gets me into my thought in the next couple chapters, is that Big Mom is going to be chasing them as they end up fighting Kaido, which I heard from some other YouTubers, and I think that could be a really cool way for Oda to really incorporate the two Yonkos, a Yonko War, quote-unquote, which would be interesting, because we hear about the Yonko Wars in the past, but we never really got to see any happen. In this sense, I don't know what would go down if Big Mom's chasing them into Kaido's territory. Kaido gets wind of this. You got everything would just go to complete chaos at that point. Escape routes for the Straw Hats at this point. I mean, of course, Luffy's going to try to fight, and I'm just thinking hypotheticals here. He could try to fight, but I don't know. Jinbei is the reason. Like I said before in some of my other videos, I believe Jinbei is the father who gives advice to Luffy, and I think this may be one of those scenes where Luffy's going to want to fight, and Jinbei is going to be no, it's not going to work, which is 100% accurate, but Luffy's not going to listen to anyone else. It seems at least for Jinbei, when he had those other sort of conversations, getting him to align with Capone in the first place. So it's completely possible. Caesar, just want to point Caesar out, he could do some weird stuff with his devil fruit, sucking the oxygen out of the air. Not that everyone's going to fall for that, but I'm just saying that could be a weird, because it even got Luffy when Luffy attacked him at first. He did that at the party, maybe spare him some time, but I really think it's going to be a complete beatdown, and it's going to be crazy. I think the signs for Jinbei possibly ending up dead to save the Straw Hats is kind of likely at this point, because they're all sealed off on the top. I have no idea how they're getting off without fighting, in a sense. No, I don't know, unless people are talking about Pudding, is she, redeemed, is she going to help him get out? I don't know. We didn't really get much from Pudding, so that's completely still up in the air. We really have no idea where that is going to go and where Oda's going to go in that direction. So stuff I'm looking forward to in next chapters primarily, just to see what happens with Big Mom once she engages in the fight, see what Capone can do with this mega castle, see really what the commanders are up to, because there's 3 of them coming. They're coming. They're ready to go to war. No one, Luffy spent 24 hours taking out the 3rd commander, who's the weakest out of the 3. And he didn't even take him out on Cracker out on his own. If it weren't for like Nami like sending all the water, making him edible, like I have no idea how he would have won that fight. I don't think he would have. Whoops, just saying that. I'm putting it out there, but anything's possible. Anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry for talking fast. I got to get this up here before I go to work and class. Thanks for listening, and have a great week. Thanks.